We are live. I made a little mistake there. Everybody drink. It's a little early to drink. But I am all by my lonesome self here in Puerto Rico. Patrick's back in the States putting the final touches on our completely renovated office slash studio there. It's looking awesome. So I'm really excited about that. But today I will be critiquing shadowed images or images with unique shadows. And we got some really great submissions with this critique. However, I will say that a lot of people just kind of they submitted images with dark shadows, lots of portraits that are very dark, dimly lit images. I guess you technically followed the rules, but my hope for this critique was that we would actually be critiquing really interesting shadows and shapes created by lights and shadows and stuff on different objects, and not just have dark portraits of people. So I have tried to choose 10 of the most interesting images when it comes to my personal definition of the term shadow. Let me go ahead and also say, I said this in the last critique, but there was a problem and it got cut out at the beginning of the critique. We have had another outpouring of complaints about the rating system on the critiques, and every few weeks or every couple of months, people start complaining that they feel like they're being downvoted on purpose so that other people can win the critique by being, rated higher or whatever. And I just want to let you guys know that always the highest rated image, the one that wins, maybe it's not my favorite, but it's certainly like the top 5 image of the critique every single time. Never in the history of critiques has anybody won by downvoting other people. Having one personal vote does nothing when there's hundreds of people voting on your images. And usually, I hate to say it, but usually the people who complain the most have really, really bad submissions, and I would rate their images just as badly as everyone else. So try not to get your feelings hurt. This is the internet. Oh, and the other thing that people always complain about, they say, well, if people are going to rate images low, they should be forced to write a description of why they rated the images so low. And nobody wants more engagement on the website than me. As the owner of F-Stoppers, I would love there to be more comments and more descriptions and more photos being uploaded all the time. That's great for business, right? But when you force people to write sentences for the ability to vote something poorly, they just stop voting. And that's just the nature of websites and the internet and people's time and the way critiques work. So if there was a way that we could get more engagement, we would be doing it. But right now, to get a lot of people voting on these images, and to keep the voting fair, because if we have a lot of people voting, then it'll average out the people who are voting to try to win, as you guys say. We need to make it easy for everyone, and that includes not forcing them to write in the description about every single image they vote. If you guys happen to be watching us right now on fstoppers.com, you can click on over to YouTube and join the live chat. And I think we are ready to get to this critique. This is not the highest rated image. I think just the way it was uploaded into my my iPad here, it got everything out of order a little bit. So this one does not win a tutorial, but super cool shot. We've got interesting shadows going on the model herself. Wild styling going on with this dress. I don't know what she's standing on, if she's on a stool or something. But then we've got interesting shadows being cast by those blinds. And I'm trying to figure out how the shadows are actually working with the blinds, because you would expect the blinds to be a little bit brighter, especially like a point of those blinds to be brighter with that light flowing through and hitting the wall. So I don't know if two images were taken and, the blinds were composited differently um, from the lighting that we're getting on the left. But I dig the image. I'm going to give this one 3 stars. I feel like maybe the retouching on her, obviously, she's a little bit small. This is a low res image, but it looks a little heavy handed on her. She looks kind of plasticky compared to the rest of the image, which makes it feel like you just kind of blurred her skin out compared to the rest of the image. The left side of this image looks really nice and high end. Maybe that molding on the bottom left looks a little cheap. But the window and the blinds themselves cheapen this image for me. And I don't know if I can crop this out somehow and do something like that. I don't know if that feels a little more high end to me or not. I don't know. But something about these blinds in particular, they just feel like the super cheapo plasticky blinds. So you've got this really high-end model with this intricate dress, beautiful lighting, makeup, hair, and then it's just kind of in this ugly, cheap-looking room with really cheesy-looking blinds. That kind of pulls me out of the image, but I do like it. Next up. Still not the highest rated image. I think I'm going to do the one random image. I'll probably do that at the very end. I'm going to give it to one of my favorites. This image I am also going to rate 3 stars. Rick over here on the comments saying 1 star with no story. Yeah, Patrick's not here to complain about the lack of story on every image. He hasn't done that recently. I think I gave him too much crap about that. But there's aspects of this image that I really love. I love the lighting. I love that interesting shadow that's being cast on the ground, and that you've got the model right in there. I think the model's beautiful. She looks like she's fit. She's made for this type of shoot. My problem with this image is the same problem that I have with a lot of running photos, and it's that the running doesn't look real at all. She looks like she's posing. She's jumping in this really awkward, weird pose, and I could see for some sort of like calisthenic workout, this type of pose would make sense. Like you're kind of jumping and doing like high knees over the top of things. Maybe if there's like hula hoops on the ground or something, or tires, and you're kind of like jumping. But she's kind of like in between this weird jumping and running pose. And for that reason, I'm not going with the 4 or the 5 star, just because it feels a little awkward to me. Obviously, you look at any sporting brand, they have this type of shot with the girl in the sports bra, and she's running, and she's, got the profile shot. I think my biggest complaint is just her pose. I think she looks great, and she's certainly capable of doing this. My other critique, there's a couple of like blemishes on the wall and stuff that I would probably take out. And then I might do a little bit of dodging on the underside of the bridge just to bring back a little bit of those details. But I dig the shot. And I don't know if you guys can see above her head to the left, you can see these reflections of the water on the bottom of the bridge. I think that looks super cool. Next up. Oh, I'm interested to hear you guys on the YouTube chat right now. Give me a rating 1 through 5 on this, and let me know what you think about this. It's interesting. I don't know if I've critiqued this image before, but it feels like I have. If I haven't critiqued this image, I've definitely critiqued another image where a woman is doing something and there's like a guy in a shadow on the wall. I don't know if it's the same photographer or what, or if it's literally the exact same photo. But I think I am going to be very consistent with my edit here. I am giving this 2 stars. I apologize to the photographer, but I do not like this image. Oh, somebody in the chat just gave this 4 stars. Somebody else gave it 2 though. I do not like this for a number of reasons. One, it just feels super cheesy to me. I think this could be done in a really high quality way, but there's just a lot about this that's cheesy. First of all, the location is cheesy. Second of all, the chairs just look like crappy chairs that you happen to have in a basement somewhere. This wall back there looks really bad. And then I don't know what is going on the floor. It looks like it's like AstroTurf or something on the floor. It looks really bad. The post-processing on this, Patrick and I have never been able to put our finger on like the correct word that we mean for this, but it's this grungy style of editing. And I used to see this all the time, like 15 years ago when Lightroom first started coming out and people started getting into digital photography and raw editing. They would do something in Lightroom or Photoshop and it would give skin tones this grungy greenish tone. This one doesn't really have a green tone, but it's just got this really gray, grungy tone. It just reminds me of Model Mayhem photography that I remember from 15 years ago. So, oh, and then quite possibly my biggest problem with this has to do with something similar to the last shot. Her pose feels incredibly forced and fake and awkward to me. Not as awkward as this image. I'm sorry, this image feels a lot less awkward than this one. This one feels just so fake to me. It doesn't feel like she's sad at all. To me, it feels like she's saying like, is this how you want me to sit? To the photographer, and he's like, yeah, got it. And so it's very uncomfortable. And then I don't know if you guys can see this. It doesn't look like you can. Do you see that white mark in the bottom right of the shot? It was like the image was cropped and then there's a white line on the bottom right of the shot. And in case you guys are interested, you can see any of these shots high res on your own computer if you go to fstoppers.com/contests. And I just remembered I forgot to mention that if you want to be a part of the next critique, you can also go to the same link, fstoppers.com/contests. I literally just made it, and I have already forgotten what the theme is. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I've forgotten. So somebody go over there, check that out, put it in the comments below. So I'm giving this one 2 stars. We can move on. This image is very interesting. And I don't know if you guys can guess what is going on over here on the bottom left. Is this light just reflecting off windows and then bouncing onto the walls and buildings over there? That's kind of interesting. Didn't notice that when I first saw it. I'm going to rate this 4 stars. I really like this image. I feel like there's a lot going on here. Maybe I'd want to recover a little bit more of the shadows from the upper right hand portion of this shot. But at the same time, I kind of like how dark it is, and then, you know, really just having a correct exposure just on that beam across the bottom. Love the fact that we have that person walking right in the middle of it, and then we can see, you know, it's kind of difficult to see them, but we can tell it's a person based on their, you know, perfectly proportioned shadow. One thing that I know the photographer couldn't change, but bums me out a little bit, is the fact that the shadow goes through the hood of the car. That's a little weird. I think it would be super cool if that car was back just a little bit, especially if it was a really awesome looking car, like some sort of supercar or something. That would be really interesting. But I dig this. As I look at it more, I'm like, should it really be 4? Maybe it should be 3 stars. I'm in between a 3 and a 4, but when I compare it to the other shots that we've seen so far, I think it's my favorite image so far. Ah, yes. somebody mentioned the next critique will be show us your best nighttime photos. I know Patrick and I have done this critique before. I will accept images of the Milky Way and stars and stuff, but I'm specifically interested in images that just look like they were taken at night. They don't have to be taken at night, but I want them to look like they were taken at night. Images taken under street lamps, city streets taken at night, stuff like that. Like I said, I will accept stars and star trails and everything. We've just done that a lot before. So different types of nighttime photos would be cool. Next up, everybody's favorite shot, the sexy thumbnail clickbaity image for this critique. She's not naked. She has a bathing suit on. Okay, perverts. I really like this shot. I feel like the composition with the window on the left and the window on the right with that interesting blue tone that's just like this flat blue tone almost makes me wonder, is that the real tone, or was that just added in Photoshop? I really like it. And then the way that it plays with that diagonal shadow with all of the detail of the broken panes of glass on the wall back there. Then we've got the detail on the ground itself, and with the broken glass everywhere, it seems like a super dangerous photo shoot to have a half-naked girl. She is laying on some sort of towel or blanket or something. How do I feel about not being able to see her face? At times I'm like, I wish I could see her face. Maybe I wish she was looking outside the window, but then another part of me is like, no. It's super cool that her hair is just kind of being blown in front of her face. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but what if you crop it like that? Something like that. That's super cool too. Very, very interesting. I don't know if I rated this yet. I got to give this 4 stars. This is definitely my favorite image so far. I just think it's super cool. I think one thing that I struggle with in my photography is, at this point in my career, I'm definitely a lazy photographer. I just want to take photos of people like in the studio or whatever. I don't want to go out to a place where I'm gonna have to trespass or like step over broken glass to get a cool shot like this, and maybe wait for the perfect lighting and everything. So I'm taking a lot of similar images that I have for the last 20 years just because it's easier. But when you go out, you find a place like this, you wait for the right moment, you get that perfect lighting. It's totally worth it. I mean, if you took a shot of this girl in like laying on the beach, whatever, it's like a 1. It's a snapshot. You put her in this location with this lighting, it's 4 stars. Well done. This image, I remember I was the one that picked all of these images. This image is incredibly simple. Maybe many people would say it's boring. I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at here. Like, obviously, it looks like a shadow of a street lamp or something. I don't know what the blue thing is. I don't know if that's like a blue barrel with water in it. I don't know if that's some sort of cheap above-ground pool or hot tub. But I do like this image. It feels like some sort of abstract art to me. Sorry. How would I rate this, though? That is the question. This is the type of image that most people would overlook, but then if some famous photographer shot this, it's worth $500,000. I'm going to rate this 3 stars. because obviously, this isn't mind-blowing. It's not, I personally don't want to hang this on my wall, but I do understand if there are people out there who are like, I would like to hang that on my wall. Like if you compare this image to this one, I definitely like this image more, but in terms of art, like I don't think I'm gonna hang something like this on the wall. Whereas something like this, I could kind of see it hung on a wall somewhere, and you just look at it as shapes and colors. You don't dwell on what it is or whatever. It's just kind of, it's like what a lot of people hang on their wall these days. It's just shapes, colors, kind of gives you a mood or a feeling, but it's not about like, wow, what an incredible portrait, or wow, she's super hot. It's just simple artwork. So 3 stars for me on this one. Moving on. Oh no! The highest rated image isn't even in here. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I don't know what happened. Save image. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is the highest rated shot. And at the beginning of this critique, I mentioned how, a lot of people just took portraits that were very shadowy portraits. This does kind of fall under this, under that, but this one was particularly unique. Very interesting use of light and shadow. Most everyone else, just showed kind of a sliver of the front of the face and then it went dark. But to have the entire face blacked out and it goes completely black into that background, and all you can see is the lips and the chin. This image is fantastic. Obviously, it doesn't, you can't really see the shape of the shadows as much as you could in other images, but this is a beautiful, beautiful shot. What do I want to rate this, though? Do I want to rate this 4 or 5 stars? Is this world class? Let me know what you guys think in the comments on YouTube. I think I have to give it 4 stars. I don't think I can go all the way to 5 stars. It's probably just a little bit too simple for me to give it 5 stars. 5 stars we usually say is world class or unforgettable. I'm not sure it falls under that. Maybe after this critique, I won't forget this image, but there are definitely a lot of other moody, dark portraits on f-stoppers that I would rate 5 stars before I would rate this one 5 stars. But this is still a fantastic image. Probably the best image of the critique, in my opinion. And it was rated the highest image, so congratulations, you have won a free tutorial on f-stoppers. Send me a private message on f-stoppers. Let me know which tutorial you'd like, and I'll get that out to you. One problem that we're running into, I don't know that the viewers of these critiques know this or not, but the winners of the critique are very often the same people again and again and again. And I think one guy has won like 5 critiques now. And they're not even asking for tutorials anymore. In many cases, they feel like maybe they don't even need them because, they're like world-class photographers and they're shooting the highest rated images on their own anyway. But on the other hand, maybe there was a couple of tutorials, 3 or 4, that they were interested in, and they've already gotten them and watched them, and they're like, I don't need any more. So we may have to change the rules in the near future. I'm still happy to have the highest rated person make their critique, and we can mention that they were the highest rated. But I don't think that we need to be having the winners be the exact same people again and again and again. It is now time for me to determine who gets the other free tutorial, and I think you guys know my second favorite image of the critique is this shot. I think this is super cool, super unique. Yes, it's sexy. Yes, it made it to the thumbnail because of that reason, but this is just a solid image overall. It has great planning, and the fact that you can't see your face, I think it's really working for this image. So congratulations. Whoever took this, send me a private message on fstoppers.com, and I will get that free tutorial out to you as well. Well, guys, I think that wraps up this critique. If anybody has any particular questions or anything, I can waste a little bit of time with you at the end of this, just because this was a relatively quick one and I've got nothing else to do today. I have jiu-jitsu class in about 45 minutes that I got to get to. But other than that, things have been kind of slow today. We've had 2 failures today. I was trying to film 2 videos for F-Stoppers. I started the first one. It was this software company, and it was like a featured sponsored video where they wanted me to use their software, and it did not go well. And I basically told them, like, hey, I don't think I can recommend this software, so I think we should just cancel the sponsored video because it did not work well. And then I got some equipment from a lighting company, and I started filming that video. And when I opened up all the packages, I realized that I didn't have the right speed rings to make it work. So I had to cancel filming that video as well. And I was like, okay, I got to get this critique done. So I am now on video number 3 of the day. I'm happy this one was a success. So Max says we need Patrick back. I agree. It's a lot more fun when Patrick's here. It might be a while until Patrick comes back. He said he was going to leave for like 2 months. Like I said, he's renovating the studio back home. We're like 95% done. So all the floors have been put in. The whole place has been rebuilt. So he's going to start putting in furniture and building out sets and stuff. Patrick, as you guys probably know, is getting married in October. He was supposed to get married earlier, but COVID ruined that. And so we might be doing a bachelor party for Patrick in Vegas around July 10th, which is a month from now. There's a UFC fight on July 10th, I believe. I don't know that we're going to pay to go see it because the tickets are ridiculous. But it's fun to just be in Vegas during that. We can go to some casino and watch it there. So maybe we'll do a critique in Vegas or something. I don't know. Andy asks, how's Tesla? Andy, I'm sure you're asking because of my short position in Tesla. That closed out a long time ago. So I lost like $65,000 on my short on Tesla, which was horrific. But then I made like 150 grand on my Bitcoin bet, which I sold out of when Bitcoin was at 60 grand, and now it's at like 35 or something. So I did really good on that. So I am an idiot in one way, and I'm a genius in the other. So I'm not too bad. Robert asks, what belt am I? I just recently got my purple belt in jiu-jitsu a few weeks ago. So I now have a target on my back, and everyone's trying to kill me. Do a phone chat with other photographers like Pi. Yeah, that's true. I could probably do a critique digitally somehow. The problem is that, you know, when I do the picture-in-picture, we're gonna have to do the picture-in-picture of them, and then where is the photo going to fit in the frame? With this system I have here, I can't do 2 picture-in-pictures. So I'm not exactly sure. I could set like a laptop here, and their face could be like right here, and then the picture-in-picture could be over there. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. How about a critique that has sun stars? Honestly, one of the genres I considered doing for the critique that I started today was bokeh. I'm pretty sure we've done bokeh before. Sun stars is an interesting idea. One thing that we're always struggling with the critique is doing something generic that we've already done like 100 times and getting a lot of submissions, or doing something that's super specific and then getting very, very few submissions. And then the problem with getting very, very few submissions is usually the photos are really bad when we get just a few submissions, and then it's like the critique's not as fun to watch, and blah, 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 blah. So I like the idea of the sun stars. I'm not completely against it. I'm just a little worried that if you do that, how many submissions will we actually get? That's why with the current critique of night photos. I thought that's generic enough that we'll probably get a lot of submissions, but who knows. All right, guys, I think I am going to call it quits for today. Thank you for watching. And once again, head over to fstoppers.com/contests to be a part of the next critique of nighttime photos. I will see you guys soon.